what?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's magic. Are we just rolling or testing?
We're rolling.
Yo, yo, yo. The boys are back.
Yeah, we are.
And we are talking NBA still. It's the only thing really happening.
It's the only thing that I like talking about these days.
Yeah, that some would say. Some would say.
What's your favorite thing to talk about?
Sports-wise?
Yeah.
Football.
Really?
Oh, fantasy football? Oh, come on, Chris.
Okay.
Fantasy football has to be up there with you. You love fantasy. You're a big
I
fan.
love fantasy, but
Sundays are reserved for football season, like reserved.
yeah, right.
It's caused a little bit of drama in the household at ours because I don't do jack diddly on Sundays.
Okay.
But, dude, you gotta know. It's only for 18 weeks, right?
She didn't know what she was signing up.
No, she knew. But when the reality comes, you know, it's like, eh. But
It's a good reason to just hang out with your dog.
yeah, 100%. That's why you got him. That's why you got to get the dog. So,
All right, well, we'll save fantasy football talk for the fall.
yeah.
We're going to,
Let's get to what the people want.
yeah, NBA stuff.
NBA.
Okay.
Bang.
So we're going to go through the teams. We got a few teams moving on. Second round.
Mm-hmm.
Locked up, solidified. We got a few teams that are struggling.
Yeah, that's a nice way to, yeah, some would say, okay.
And a few series that are close.
Yeah.
So we're going to run through them. We're going to start with the teams that are out.
Yeah,
We'll just touch on them because this is the last time we're talking about them until next year.
Yep.
You got the three teams that are out. Start with the Pelicans.
Tough.
4-0 sweep. Lost to the Thunder.
I mean, injuries doesn't help.
The Thunder were the youngest team in the history of the NBA to win a playoff series. Did you know
Really?
that? Mm-hmm.
Ever?
Ever, yeah. What'd you see from the Pelicans in their series against the Thunder?
Well, I think once Zion went down, it was very difficult. Obviously,
That
I was
before the series.
right, but I'm saying obviously, I was a big Kings guy. I think the Kings would have put up a much better fight. The crazy thing about this, 100%. The difference in this is game one, you would have thought this series would have been close. Like, it was a 2-point game. Everything was great. But then, like, Brandon Ingram forgot how to play basketball.
Oh
McCollum went cold. Like, get the ball to Valanciunas and let the bro work. He's going against Chet. That's a huge advantage size-wise.
Yeah.
And they just didn't do it. And it's like, so let's see here. You scored 92, 92, 85, 89.
Mm-hmm.
That's bad. That's horrible. You're not going to win. You're not going to win.
It's going to be a lot harder to win.
Yeah. And I think the question becomes for them.
Because you don't think about them as a defensive team.
No.
I don't even know stats to back that up if that's the case or not. But when you think of the Pelicans, you don't think of a defensive team. You also don't really think of the Thunder as like that great of a defense team. I know Chet's good, but
Chet's very good defensively. But yeah, like Shea's, I mean, they're not defensive stoppers by any means.
right, they have Dort and Chet.
But when you average 115 points a game and you don't even crack 100. Granted, you weren't even close. You weren't even over 92.
No.
So, I don't know. I think maybe a little bit of inexperience. I mean,
how many years are we going to say that it's inexperienced?
that's what I'm saying. The hardest part, what I was going to say is, it's not really inexperience for them. The difference is, at what point is Zion just going to be what he's supposed to be?
Yeah, you want.
I mean, I get injuries are injuries, but bro, you got to stay healthy.
You want to hear a fun fact for you?
Yeah. We haven't had a fun fact in a decent
All right,
amount
here's
of
a
time.
fun fact for you.
Oh, boy.
The 2019 lottery picks.
2019. Okay.
Correct. From the draft.
Got it.
Lottery picks is the first 14 picks. Okay.
Isn't it all the teams that don't make the playoffs?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It is all the teams that don't make the playoffs.
Yep.
The first 14 picks.
Okay.
Zion is the only player that has not played in a playoff series. In a playoff game.
Wow.
Out of the whole lottery in 2019. Keep in mind, the teams that are in the lottery are the teams that didn't make the playoffs, unless they traded a pick. But even so, like when you look at the picks in the lottery here, in that year, like Bro, Jarrett Culver, you're telling me that he played in a playoff game before Zion Williamson? And then you look at the other one that came to mind was Romeo Langford.
Where's he? He's on the.
I don't even know if he's in the league anymore.
Yeah, that's. Crazy.
I mean, he was on the Celtics, so like maybe he just gets thrown in there at the end of the game. But like, of all of these guys, Zion's the only one that was in the lottery that has not played in the playoff game so far.
Yeah, that's wild actually. But that's the thing, it's just
go.
injuries.
Yeah.
And I know the hardest part about him is the biggest knock on him, the last thing about it is the biggest knock on him is always like, oh, he's out of shape, overweight. It's like, bro, get your butt in shape. How hard is it?
He was playing well.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Even when he was big, and then
it was a little bit of an unfortunate circumstance, but
yeah, it's just like
if you have a number of unfortunate circumstances stacking up every single year, at some point it's like, all right, when are we going to put ourselves in a better circumstance to then maybe decrease the amount of unfortunate circumstances?
100%. Maybe since you're an NBA player, maybe 1 year, just get in shape, and if you still get hurt, you can still get hurt.
I feel like he was in pretty good shape this year.
He's still overweight. He came in overweight. That was like the huge.
During the middle of the year.
Oh, during the middle of the year, yeah. But it's just like it's hard when you're. I mean, this year was unfortunate. The other past years, it's like
I also don't think Brandon Ingram's the guy.
No, I don't think Brandon Ingram's the guy. And I also think CJ McCollum was. Oh my god!
In a closeout game, this bro stunk it up.
Yeah, to be honest, with the there will be that'll be a common theme. I think for a lot of these playoff teams that their big players just lose. Yeah, just their big players just didn't step up.
Yeah.
So.
All right, that's enough Pelican talk. They're out. See you later.
Yeah.
It was honestly an embarrassing performance by them. Also, last thing. Game 3, the game that they got smoked the most by. You mentioned it. Literally in game 4, and it was either 1 or 2. I can't remember which one it was. They were feeding Valanciunas, and he was just bodying Chet. And then literally game 3, he like barely played in the second half.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's like, what are we doing here? I mean, I know that you guys were getting smashed, but still, like, there's probably a reason why.
Yeah. It's like we said that from the get-go. Like, you have a huge advantage. Like, Chet's a good defender, but he's also skinny.
He's not good when he's playing a guy that can body and drive him down from like the mid post to the basket. Like Valanciunas was able to just take him down to the basket from the mid post every single time he caught the ball.
100%.
But they didn't send any help, so then it was like, all right, we'll just keep doing it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. All right. Now, second team that's out, Lakers. They lost 4-1 at the hands of the Nuggets.
I will say this about the Lakers. I think, obviously now there's speculation about whatever's going to happen with LeBron. But I think when you look at that team, like they lost on 2 buzzer beaters.
2 buzzer beaters, and they were winning a lot of the...
They were winning every single... I think all 4 or 5 games in the first half they were leading. And then in the third quarter they were like minus something.
Yes, ridiculous. They were not good there. So do you think that that's a result of their players not taking it seriously and just kind of relaxing? Do you think it's the coaching? Do you think it's the role players just like doing who knows what?
Yeah,
Why do you think they weren't able to sustain their leads?
I think it is partially coaching, to be 100% honest. I think they've always been the one team that has probably been under microscope where it's like, all right, it doesn't matter who's coaching them. Like LeBron is the coach or the players are the coach. And so it's like you have a decent lineup. Granted, D'Angelo Russell, there was a handful of games that forgot how to score too, so it didn't help. But it's like when you're going in with the lead and you have arguably 2 superstar players in Anthony Davis and LeBron. Like you can't, and you're up by a decent amount. They were up by like 14 one of the games. Like you just can't lose. And I know it's on a buzzer beater, but it's also like it also just. We'll get to this team later, but it's the talks of the Nuggets are hard because it's just like you start out so slow. That could be your kryptonite, but we'll get to them later. So I think the Lakers have a lot of question marks. I do. I think is Ham the coach guy? I don't know.
No,
I think he's gone. I think LeBron is going in free agency.
Shams was already saying that the expectation that he's not going to be there.
Is that he's gone?
Yeah.
And I think LeBron
Darvin
Ham, yeah. So it's too bad. They put up a good fight.
What do you think they need to do to be in a better position next year? Keep in mind, I'll preface this by saying that neither David or I'm just going to speak for you, are very well versed in the whole salary cap thing.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So whenever we answer these types of questions of what types of things do they need to do next year to be in a better position, this does not take into account salary cap and paying people and everything. So that is completely separate. That we are not that well versed on.
No,
so
we're not getting in depth on that.
I think
excluding
salary, what do they need to do?
Yeah, but I think at some point for them, like, yes, LeBron is elite. Granted, he's 40 years old or 39, 40. Anthony Davis has injury issues too. He played very well.
He played the most games of his career in the regular season.
And then he hurt his shoulder too, which was hard. But I think you do have to kind of find a coach.
He still played though.
100%, he fought through it, but you could tell. But I think the difference is you got to take like some of these younger guys and like let them develop. Like Austin Reeves is a very good player. D'Angelo Russell sucks, but like you have like Christian Wood. Granted, he was hurt, but it's like you have these guys. At some point, you just got to turn over the roster, and the team's not working with LeBron and AD. So you need a coach that's going to come in and actually be a coach and not just be like, yes, LeBron, you can do whatever you want. That's what I think. You need a coach that's actually going to coach these guys and develop these players. No offense to LeBron, you're a player. I hate that shit. It's like, dude, don't go to the bench and complain and then sit at the end of the bench and call the plays. No.
You think that's how Phil Jackson talked to MJ?
Yes, because Phil Jackson actually probably coached them very, very hard. He also had Dennis Rod. Their roster was also a lot better than the Lakers.
Yeah.
Just being honest. I mean, you look at this roster, like you have some good players. Your starting five is good. You have no depth.
Yeah.
No offense, Spencer Dinwiddie is bad.
I think their biggest problem is that their secondary players are just not good.
No, they're just awful.
And I'm including Austin Reeves in this.
What?
Yes.
I think Austin Reeves is pretty good.
I think he's overrated.
Really?
Yes.
Averaged 16 points.
I don't think he's good enough.
Wow.
To be a starter on a team that is trying to go far into the playoffs, he's not good enough.
You don't think he's a good 3 or 4 option on the starting team? Like he would be a 3 or 4.
He was the second.
No,
Anthony
Davis.
No, sorry, not second. The third.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't think he's a decent third?
I don't think he's good enough to be the third.
Okay. You think he was the option above D'Angelo?
Yeah.
Really? Poor D'Angelo.
I mean, he can get hot.
Yeah.
And
we've seen it firsthand.
But he's not going to be a guy that's consistently leading to winning.
Yeah.
We've already talked about this.
Yeah.
But like those two guys are the guys that have to score 15 to 20 a game for you.
Right.
And then you're hoping that LeBron and AD are scoring 25 to 30 every game.
Yeah. And it kind of seemed like LeBron.
That's how you get to 100.
Then LeBron kind of almost took a back seat where it was like his assists were obviously above 10 almost probably every game. But like points, he wasn't. He never had like a 30-point game.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
Yes.
Oh, really? I thought Anthony Davis was the one.
Game 4.
Oh, so 1 out of 5 games he had 30 points. And that's your guy that's got to score 25 to 30?
He was right around 25.
Oh, he did have 30 twice.
And then
26.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
don't be dogging LeBron.
I'm not dogging LeBron, but it's time to just...
read his point totals.
27, 26, 26, 30. I mean, I think LeBron...
27, 26, 26, 30, 30. Okay, yeah, I think he's doing all right.
Yeah, he's doing fine. I mean, I think you just let the coach. But
him and AD did exactly what they needed to do. It's just everybody else was not good enough. I will also say, in the last game, Game 5, you have 1 timeout. You cannot challenge a play with 3 minutes left knowing that you won't have any more timeouts left.
That's coaching.
Well, all the players were telling them, hey, we got to challenge it. And I think because they didn't challenge that play that LeBron got super pissed off in Game 4, then it almost forced their hand to challenge it in Game 5, and then it screwed them because then they couldn't advance it once Jamal Murray hit that shot.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. So I get that this is the difference. LeBron is going to coach and do whatever and complain or do whatever you want to call it about that one play. But at the end of the day, you're the coach. Make the call. Like, don't like you just said, you should know, okay, there's 6-7 minutes left. I can't challenge with our last timeout. It's like the same story we'll talk about with the Suns. They used timeouts in the worst way I've ever seen a team use timeouts. Ever.
I don't think it was going to matter.
It wasn't going to matter, but I'm just saying, we dominated them, but I'm just saying, it was like, they literally used timeouts at the worst time. What game did we go to? 2?
Game 2. Yeah.
Game 2. They had 0 timeouts with like 6 minutes left.
That's because they were getting smashed.
So that's why I'm saying, at some point, just let the game go.
But in a close game, you have to keep at least one timeout for the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. This is terrible coaching. I mean, you want to talk about a player that needs to step up, Roy Hachimura.
I mean,
he's your starter, though. He's your 4.
The expectation, he's your 5th best starter, and the expectations of him are 5th best out of 5.
Well, if you include him in the bench, yeah, he's a starter.
The expectations of him are, 8 to 10 points?
And he got 8 to 10 2 times. In 31 minutes, he got 7 points. 38 minutes, he had 3 points.
Well,
I would take Austin Reeves over this guy. Sorry.
Well, Austin Reeves is supposed to be the 3rd best player.
I mean, he's arguably 3rd or 4th. You could give D'Angelo the 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, those two are interchangeable, and we know how I feel about both of those guys. So, just saying. All right, so you mentioned the Suns.
Ass.
What did you like about their postseason performance?
What did I like?
Yep. I'm going to challenge you a little bit first before you can start going on a tangent and saying all the things that were bad.
I mean, I think they showed how good Kevin Durant really actually is, and they have one superstar. I will say this. I don't think anyone in the world thought that the Timberwolves were going to sweep them. Not one person in the world.
This is supposed to be positive for...
Positive. I think they had good... The difference is it's pretty hard to say anything positive when you lost 3 of the 4 games by 30 points.
Yeah, 20.
I mean, Luka Garza got more minutes than anyone expected, and these bench players did because we were up by 20-some points every game.
That's fair, yeah.
So I think it's very difficult. I think KD is an elite player, and I hope he gets traded, but I think he's an elite player, and I think that's my only positive thing. I do like KD.
Okay, my positive thing is I think it shows the impact that Grayson Allen had on their team. And once he went down, I feel like they just did not have any shot.
Yeah, but
in the series.
Yeah, but that's because they have no depth.
Right, no depth, and the spacing that Grayson Allen provided for him, it shows that is what they needed. And once he got hurt, there was no shot. Unfortunately, Royce O'Neal is not providing the same stretching ability that Grayson Allen, even remotely close to what Grayson Allen was giving.
Yeah. So I will say this, Grayson Allen, even when playing, struggled big time. But
he got hurt in the first game.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So he still played and he struggled. I mean, for a guy who probably almost led the league in 3-point percentage.
What was his first game stat line?
4 points.
Well, how many minutes did he play?
I think he played over 20. In the second game, he had 17 minutes.
Yeah, but he was trying to struggle through. He played 25 minutes.
25 minutes.
Yeah.
4 points.
I mean, he came in, then he went out, then he came back in. It's tough.
Yeah. I mean, I just think the difference with the Suns, now that we're done talking about the positives because they're ass, it just shows, though, that literally, yes, you can have 3 superstar players, great players, but at the end of the day, you need more of a team and you need somebody on your bench. Their bench is literally dog water. Mm-hmm. No offense, Eric Gordon had a decent game 2.
Yeah, he did.
And the only reason that game was even close for the most part was Eric Gordon.
Right, yeah, 100%.
But besides that, like you said, Royce O'Neal, trash. Nurkic, body, bully, crybaby. I mean, but Bradley Beal.
He did not play well.
I mean, he had one good game, but besides that, it's like, bro, you're telling me that you're getting paid the most on the team and that's how you perform? In a game where if he would have just been somewhat average in game 4, they would have won. I truly think they would have won. There was so many moments that he came up and it was like, Bradley Beal turnover, Bradley Beal foul, Bradley Beal. You couldn't even play him. But they didn't have anybody. They played Nasir Little. Come on.
I will say they probably should have played Josh Kogi more.
Should have 100%. Strictly defense.
And just energy, hustle, all of those things. when you have those three guys, you have to fill the rest of the team with guys that are going to do everything else that the stars aren't going to do. And like Josh Okogie, literally the perfect version of what that would be.
And they play
same thing with
8 guys.
Same thing with Grayson Allen. He just gives you more shooting. Like he was doing all the grinding stuff. Same with Royce O'Neal. Like you can play all of these guys together and be in a better position.
Well, the thing is, you have to play guys so you can give your starter some kind of a break. I mean, at some point, it's like they need to come out. I mean, you just look at it like what makes these elite teams better is they have guys off the bench who, when they come in, perform.
They also, Cat and Ant were surprised that Drew Eubanks didn't play in Game 4.
Yeah, he had a hurt. They said he was questionable.
He was hurt?
He was kind of hurt. So that was quote unquote.
Kind of hurt, or is that just what?
Well, he also knew he was going to get freaking body. I'm surprised they didn't even. But like, here's the thing.
DNP coach's decision.
Yeah, but they said he had like a questionable.
That's just an out.
Yeah.
That's what people are saying because they don't want to say that they didn't want to play him.
Also, but just play somebody else. Play more guys. I mean, Bradley Beal had 31 minutes, was minus 12, 6 fouls, 6 turnovers, 2 assists, 9 points. That's a guy making $48 million a year.
Wait, 6 fouls.
6 fouls. He fouled out.
Bradley Beal. Yeah. Bradley Beal sucked in Game 4.
He sucked. He was wide open so many times. I was like, damn, brick.
Yeah.
And then he had 6 turnovers to 2 assists. You do that. Let me, Chris. We've talked about ourselves. I think I would have less turnovers. You give me the ball as much as you gave it to Bradley. I don't think I would have 6 turnovers and 2 assists.
I think you'd have more turnovers.
Nope, I don't think I would. Not a chance.
I think you would. I truly do. I think you would have.
I don't think turnovers. I don't think I would. Who's guarding me? Mike Conley? I don't think I would.
I think you would.
Give me Nah.
You gotta. What? You think Nah is guarding you and you're having less than 6 turnovers?
Yes. If I'm Bradley Beal's talent.
This is not what we're talking about. You said we're putting our.
Yeah, I think I could have less than 6 turnovers.
Oh gosh, no.
I could also get 6.
You gotta remember that Mike Conley played at Ohio State. It's not just some random guy.
All these guys played somewhere.
I know, but I'm saying like this dude is legit.
They're all legit. I think you would have better stats than that.
I don't know, dude. That's
you have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker just passing the ball.
I think that's gonna be pretty tough.
No.
To have a better stat line. All right, that's enough with the Suns talk. Now we're talking about teams that are currently losing 3-1. So they've won 1 game out of the first 4. Chances are these teams are going to be done by the time that you listen to this. But
potentially.
What's a positive from the Heat's performance so far?
Well, I think the game they won, I mean, they just shot the lights out. It kind of gave
so many threes.
They actually, I think it was a record.
Yes, it was team record.
Team record, I think. And I mean, they showed that they could kind of play with them, and I think it was eye-opening. I think they're obviously missing a guy like Jimmy Butler.
And Terry Rozier.
And
now they're missing Jaime Hopkins Jr.
He's out?
Next game, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. I think the difference is now what happened is you guys beat the Celtics, and it really woke the Celtics up to say, hey, we're done with
Do you think it really woke them up?
Yes, the next game they dominated.
Game 4, it was truly Derek White played really well. But
yeah.
Well, so the Heat won game 2. Are you talking game 3?
Yeah, game 3.
Okay, game 3 was different. Game 4, it was kind of like the Celtics were just out there, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, game 3.
Other than Derek White.
Yeah, I'm talking about the game after they lost. I mean, they scored 42 points in the second quarter. They were up by 31 at halftime.
Yeah, but what about game 4?
Oh, that was the Derek White game. But I think the reality of it when you look at the Celtics is it did wake them up, but that just shows the Celtics have so many players that can literally just get hot and get going. I mean, Derek White's a good player. Did anybody expect him to score 38? Probably not.
No.
But like also at the same time, I mean, you were up the whole game, dominating the whole game. I think it's pretty hard. But like you said, you lose your best player in Jimmy Butler, and you lose other guys. Terry Rozier, solid starter. So it's like, I don't know. It's just a lot on the shoulders of these other guys who I just don't think
it's
going to happen. And I think this next game. But I think this was one of the series Where I think once the Heat won game 2, I think it was a little shocking. I think both of us said this would be 4 and done.
Yep.
So.
What positives do you think you've seen from the Heat?
The Heat?
Yeah.
Positives? I think Bam Adebayo is very, very, very good. Obviously playing for Team USA, but he's fun to watch. But like I said before, I think to show the grit to actually win one of the games when you have a roster who no one thought you could compete. You were 14-point underdogs that game, and you won.
Yep.
So now it's pretty tough, and now, like I said, I don't know if you'll probably be done by the time this airs, but it's good momentum going into next year. I think you have some good players. It's obviously the story is always going to be what would we have done with Jimmy and them. So
yeah,
you just lose the experience and a superstar player in Jimmy Butler.
Mm-hmm.
So
it kind of like I don't think that this year is going to change next year like at all.
No,
because most of the time the Heat are slightly above average during the regular season, and then it's just like they kind of just like fall back on their expectations and their experience come the playoffs. But like it's not like I ever really expect the Heat to just dominate during the regular season. So like yes, they made it to the playoffs this year. They don't have a bunch of their main guys, so like it's not going to like lead them into next year or not lead them into next year. It just kind of is like, well, all right, that's done. Next year's going to come and it's going to be
same
kind
story,
of the same thing.
Yeah, and I think they'll build off of it. I mean, I think getting Terry Rozier was big time, and like Hero's a very good player. It's just
I think Jovic has played.
He's played very surprisingly very well, stepping into a bigger role for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's one of those things. Yeah, with the Heat, I mean they were the last team in.
They were the 8.
Yeah, so I mean I think anybody would have had tough with the Celtics. So you win one game, that's probably a positive to next year.
Exactly. Another team probably more disappointing, the Sixers.
Yeah.
Down 3-1. They're in a dogfight in game 5.
Dogfight game 5. Had a few close games that were probably within reach and just couldn't do it.
Yeah, negatives.
I think the surprising thing is, 0 points, 5 fouls, nice. Like Buddy Hield is just not playing.
Not playing at all. It's weird.
Like what? I'm confused. Like during the season, I feel like he was a pretty good player. Like you brought him over. You got him for a reason. You got him for a reason, and he's just not playing.
I know. The announcers one game were saying that they just don't think that he fits with the guys that are playing. It's like, how is he not fitting? All he does is go in and bang threes.
My question is like, and to that statement would be like, first of all, how does he not fit? You have Nicholas Batum.
Yeah,
what does he do? Rebound?
Batum can shoot and he rebounds and he plays defense and he's a little bit longer.
I'm telling you, I'm taking Buddy Hield shooting over.
Yeah, but that's not really the guy that.
So who would he go in for?
Taking his
Oubre?
Minutes. Probably a little bit of Oubre's minutes, probably a little bit of Kyle Lowry's minutes, and Cam Payne is playing more. Like when you play Cam Payne, Maxey, and Lowry, all 3 of those, like Buddy Hield's minutes are probably coming out of mainly those guys, maybe a little bit of Oubre.
11 minutes, 15 minutes, 4 minutes.
For
Buddy Hield. It's a guy who averaged 25 minutes during the regular season.
He played the first 3 games and then didn't play in game 4 and has not stepped on the court.
And doesn't look like he will either.
No.
That's crazy to me. So that's...
Well, they also, last game, they got DeAnthony Melton back, and he played before Buddy Hield. So they're just throwing guys in that are coming back from injury before him, too.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
So that part doesn't make sense. What other negatives? You get one more.
One more negative? I think, well...
If you got it. If not...
I don't even think it's necessarily a negative. I think it's just kind of the normal saying, like, you can tell Joel Embiid is not Joel Embiid. And obviously there was one of the games early, I don't remember if it was 1 or 2. Might have been 1. That he went down and everyone thought he was done for the series, but came back and obviously played well. I just think you watch him play and he's slow. He's... I mean, I know he plays very methodical, but, like, he just doesn't look like he's all in.
Yeah,
he's just the way he's playing. Is just
he also had that.
He's playing with a lot, isn't he?
Disease that he was working through.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he's playing with a lot.
I will also say, it came out that he was going through that, and it literally with the news that it came out with, it said like was trying to keep it under wraps, and then all of a sudden
Just
people
pops.
are reporting on it. It's like, I mean, we don't need to talk about this if this is something that
Well, we don't need to talk about personal issues. This is
right, and it was like I think it was a disease that he was working through.
because it's something that's actually serious.
Yeah, so why? I mean,
You gotta get clicks.
and it
Chris.
literally
Gotta get clicks.
said he was trying to keep it like kind of quiet,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, yep, okay, that's out there.
Yeah, once it gets.
I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah. So yeah, I do think that's interesting. I mean, I don't know if it's a positive, but you can definitely tell something's going on.
I think it shows that this is a separate point. I think it shows that you need like I feel like most teams you kind of have like 3 guys.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's kind of the number that you're looking for. 3 guys that are consistently producing on offense, and then the other guys can kind of fill in the gaps and like complement them well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it shows like the Sixers, they're just one guy away. Obviously, Embiid's very good, Maxi's very good, but like Tobias Harris has just been sucking this whole series, and like Oubre has not been playing well. So they're just like the one guy away, and like most of these games have been fairly close.
Well, they've all been very close. They've just been like one possession. I mean,
Right, so like if you just get like 8 to 10 more points from that third guy,
yeah.
which I don't think is crazy considering like Oubre, I mean he's not scoring as much as he did in the regular season. Tobias Harris has been sucking.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Lowry has not been scoring like his 6 to 12 points, you know? And so like
But I think that's why they brought
It's
over
hard
Buddy
to-
Hield. So play the guy.
Yeah, no,
Unless
totally.
something's
I agree.
happening. It's like you got to change something. The game they won, Joel Embiid had 50,
right.
and that's what it took to win.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean that it shows the importance of the third guy.
At least, yeah.
It's
Because the
gonna
other
be-
2 are good.
It's gonna be tough to win with just 2 guys. Like that's what the Lakers tried to do. They lost too.
Right. So
All right. Any positives or we're good? to
no,
move
we're
on?
good.
All right. The last team that's down 3-1, probably out at this point, the Bucks.
Yeah,
That's-
but
it's
injuries
just been
again.
Disappointing.
Well, injuries again. I mean, I think the reality is when you look at the Bucks, that series is probably so different with a healthy Giannis and a healthy Dame.
Bro, Cam Payne has a strap.
Bro, he's got the ugliest jump shot I've ever seen, but it
And
goes
he
in.
makes it every time.
But I'm saying like if you put those 2 in the series, I think it's a completely different game.
Completely different. But the roster that the Bucks are putting out there is just
Oh my.
embarrassing.
Oh, it's horrible. It's literally
And
horrible.
I mean, we have to take a moment. Literally, game 3. Or, no, game 4. It was game 4. Giannis and Dame are out. Bobby Portis is like the best player or second best player on their team that's playing,
Yes.
right? You cannot get ejected in the first half.
Yeah, that shows.
What are you doing?
Yeah, that was bad.
Like, you have to know that you are a very important player in that game.
You're literally the guy.
Other than Middleton, who ended up getting hurt for a little bit too. Like, you cannot go out of that game and because of you getting mad.
Yeah, and it's just dumb stuff like that. But I think that, I mean, when you look at that series too, like the Bucks took game 1. Obviously, Dame had an unreal performance in the first half. Didn't do shit in the second half, but still scored 35. But then it's like the same thing where it's like you have another game where game 3 goes to overtime, potentially could have gone either way, and you're not playing with your 2 best players,
Right.
and it doesn't look like you'll be playing with them in game 5.
Probably,
And the Bucks are taking advantage of
honestly,
it.
It's
Or I mean,
even
the
like
Pacers
the
are.
rest of the postseason.
I wouldn't play them. Why would you play them this series? There's no
I don't
point.
think they'll be okay to play. I don't think.
I think
they'll
Giannis
be
has a
healthy
potential,
enough. No,
but I don't think they'll
I don't
come
think
in.
so.
Yeah, I think they'd be. I mean,
It'll be done at this point.
yeah, I mean the Pacers are playing very well. I think.
Yeah, but we're not
Obviously.
talking about them yet.
Yeah, but it helps that the Bucks just are. I mean, it's just a tough lineup to go out there with.
Yep. The one close series that we got going on is it been one that
One in the East.
a big up and down. Cavs and Magic tied 2-2 going into Game 5. We got Game 5 going on right now. Cavs are winning 48-39 as we speak. Both teams won at home. So we had 2 wins by the Cavs, game 1 and 2. 2 wins by the Magic, games 3 and 4.
Yeah, I think it was very interesting. I think you watch both games were not, or all 4 games really haven't been relatively close.
No.
At the end of it, like the
not
first
at
2
all.
games, I think we probably came back and said, okay, this is the Cavs series easily. And then even in the game 3 and 4, the games were somewhat close, and then all of a sudden at halftime, I don't know what happened to the Magic. They just took the momentum and were gone.
Or what happened to the Cavs? They just didn't play basketball.
Yeah, and I think this is probably pretty standard with a team like the Magic, where it's like you don't really have you have very much inexperience. You have no experience, and so you're kind of riding that momentum. And now you're playing on the road in the playoffs. It's a lot different.
Way different.
And so, I mean, you look at the 2 games. They scored 83 and 86 in Cleveland. Then you go home and you score 121 and 112.
Right.
Like, those are night and day differences. I think this is the one hard part about it is the Cavaliers, they don't score a ton. They're usually a defensive-minded team.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like one of those things, if you can kind of get hot and you ride the momentum of the crowd and stuff, sure.
Right.
Sure.
No, yeah, the Cavs, they have long stretches on offense where they just cannot do anything.
No, they just cannot, and it's all of a sudden like, and it's happened both games that they've been in Orlando.
Right.
And it's like you can just tell these young guys are just feeding off the crowd. I mean, they are every play. When I was watching game 3, I think it was game 3 or game 4. Every single time they scored a bucket, 3 or 4 of the guys would celebrate with the crowd.
Yeah.
They weren't even in the play.
Yeah, I love it.
And it was like you could tell they're young guys that they're like, hey,
That's
we're
what makes
feeding
it
off
fun,
it.
though.
I also will say this. I don't want to go back to the beginning, but I'm pretty sure one of us said this series will be probably 4. And then it went 2. It went 2-1.
I thought it
went
was
2-1
4
and
or 5.
And then
I think I said 5.
And then we were hanging out, and you said
I don't want to commit to the
4,
the sweep, but
I remember saying
obviously it's not happening.
I remember saying those Magic, man, they took game 3, and you go, well, they could still get beaten 5, and then they came out and dominated game 4.
Yeah.
It was like, damn, it's crazy this series. I mean, truthfully, this is probably not a great look for the Cavs. I thought the Cavs should play a lot better than they are. Darius Garland's kind of been irrelevant till this game, but. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I mean, it could go 7 because the home team.
So what's the one thing that one of the teams can do that's like, all right, that's what's gonna make this team win? Pick a team and pick something that you think is going to directly lead to them winning the series.
I think it will have to. I think I'm going to pick the Magic, and I think it will have to be. You'll just have to find a way in clutch moments to make big shots because and somebody's going to have to step up, whether that's Suggs or whether that's Banchero. Someone's going to have to step up.
Suggs
has been playing decent, actually.
Yeah, decent, but it's either going to be Wagner or Banchero.
Yeah, probably most likely Banchero, but I think if they just step up in one of these games, when you go back home, like I said, like we talked about, it's a different team, so you're probably a lot more comfortable there. So if you can steal one of these games, if you can steal game 5,
You think they're going to though?
I think they could. Like I said, Cleveland doesn't score a lot. So if you can get over 100, you give yourself a very good chance. Who are you taking? You taking Cleveland?
Yeah, I gotta stick with the boys.
In 7?
I mean, they haven't given me any hope that they're gonna figure it out on the road.
Yeah.
But, oh man, I mean, they have the best player in the series, in theory.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, it should be at least.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like they got to figure out their offense at some point, don't you think? Like they can't be this bad at offense the whole series.
And I will go back to my thing, what I was saying about
I mean, why are we...
the reason that the Magic could steal this one is because Jared Allen is also not playing.
Yeah, that is part of it.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, the hard part about the Cavs is you don't score a lot. You do have a very good player in Donovan Mitchell, but if he somehow goes a little cold, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not good.
So, should be. I mean, that's a series that possibly could go 7? Question mark? Both teams don't really look like they want to win on the road.
It's either that series or the Clippers and Mavericks. That's also 2-2.
Yeah.
Going into game 5. What's your gauge on this series?
I'll say this, and I said this. We talked off air about this, and I said I didn't think we were going to sweep the Suns, but I said the team I would want to play is the Mavericks. I'm not backtracking on it because I think they have two elite players, but besides those guys, it's like night and day now. When Paul George is obviously just turning back the clock and playing well, they play better without
Except
Kawhi
for one
because
game.
besides one game, but they play better without Kawhi because I feel like Paul George and James Harden know they have to step up.
So,
Two games that Kawhi played, they both stunk.
So when Kawhi plays, they think that they can just lean on him?
Lean on him, and they will lean on him a little bit, but I'm just saying in the other games, I mean, this last game, game 4, Paul George was unbelievable, and so was James Harden.
Yeah.
This was like vintage.
Right.
And Kawhi, and to be honest, the reason it was close is because it shouldn't have ever been close. There was like, I think they were up by 25 to 30 at one point.
Yeah.
But it was close because Kyrie decided to take over too, which is the scary thing about them is they have two players that can take over.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's what I think about the Mavericks is like you feel like they haven't played anywhere close to their potential up to this point, and it's 2-2.
Right. Going back to
like
LA.
the Clippers, they've won 2 games, so it's tied. But like the chances of them getting Kawhi back, I don't think are strong. Like I think he's out for Game 5 for sure, and he's out. I would expect for probably Game 6. So like then he's coming back Game 7, potentially, but you can't feel good about that. Right. And so I just feel like there's a lot more room for the Mavericks. Like they just have to play a little better, and they're gonna win this series for sure.
Yeah, there's just a lot. I mean, both teams literally have. As Kawhi's not playing, it's just a 2v2.
Yeah, kinda.
2v2, and like you said before the series started, at least for the Mavericks, like who's gonna be your third guy? Mm-hmm. Like you said before, just to reiterate, the elite teams have 3 guys.
Yeah. Both
of these teams right now have 2.
Right, and that's why they're barely scoring 100.
And they're just battling each other. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, both teams, if one of them can find a third guy to step up.
And the thing is, like, the 2 on the Mavericks and the 2 on the Clippers, like, those 4 guys are elite.
Oh, they're superstars.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think this Game 4 kind of showed you why Paul George is still Paul George. But I think it puts a lot of pressure on him. I mean, there was a few times where if he doesn't make some ridiculous shot, you probably don't win that game. Or you're down 3-1, and it's a whole different story.
Definitely.
So, should be an exciting matchup. I mean, I think both of those teams, like you said, whichever team advances going to the next round, still has a lot of room to potentially grow. Mm-hmm. And hasn't really reached that top potential, so should be very interesting.
Who do you have winning?
I think the Clippers will win.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Do you want to make a bet right now? $5? I'll take the Mavericks.
Okay. Right here. This is the first bet that Chris has ever shook on my hand with. I've tried to get him on a few other ones, but he won't take the baits. Well, we've talked about Smoo and Gus Davis, but we didn't want to do that.
I mean,
but that's okay. Yeah,
we got the Knicks and the Sixers. I won that one.
Yeah, that was at home. That was also just whack.
All right, so I got the Mavericks. You got the
Clippers.
Okay. Then we're going to. Oh, I went out of order.
No, that's fine because now that's the 2 and 2. So now these are the teams that have 3.
Teams that are winning by 3. Well, 3 games to 1.
Yeah, 3 games to 1.
Chances are they're going to be done. So we've got the Celtics.
I mean, that there is a reason.
Expected.
Yeah. And I think here's the thing. I will say this. Like I said before when we were talking about the Heat and I mentioned the Celtics. I think the scary thing about the Celtics is now Porzingis is hurt.
Yeah.
And
how much do you think that's going to affect them?
I think this series...
It's not going to affect them in this series.
No. Not
but how do you think that will affect them in the next series? I mean, you don't know how long this Cavs Magic series is going to go.
No, so I think it helps.
It will help him for sure. Yeah. But word on the street is it's the same injury that Giannis has, and he hasn't played in 3 weeks.
He hasn't played in a while, yeah.
4 weeks.
I think when you look at it, I think it does depend. I mean, obviously, if he can play, it's great, but I think for them, they still have the depth. I think it just puts a lot more pressure on, like, Al Horford to play and kind of... I mean, because here's the thing. Like I was saying about this team...
Al Horford is not in a place where he can be playing big minutes.
Exactly. And that's the problem, is you have to find... I mean, here's the thing.
Who do you put at the 5? Tatum?
You go small. Go with Hauser in them, but I don't know.
Gosh.
But that's what I'm saying, is you lose Porzingis, that's a huge part of your offense, and then you rely on guys like they did in Game 4, like a Derek White. Like, Jason Tatum will get you his 20, get you his 30. And to be honest, I don't even know if we've seen in this series.
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown's the same way. I don't even know if we've seen in this series. Like, when Tatum plays, like some of these times.
They got Luke Cornett.
Stop.
I mean, he can give you some minutes.
Yeah, but I think the difference, what's crazy is, like, when you look at this series, like, I feel like Tatum really hasn't. He's kind of just played down to the.
He had that one triple-double.
Triple-double, but it was still, what, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists?
Something like that.
So it's like he still hasn't had that breakout game, and I don't know if he's obviously hasn't been needed.
He
but
hasn't
so this series, I don't think it affects him. I think going into the next few series, well, if this Cavaliers Magic game goes, I don't even know. I'll say this: I don't even know if it really matters because I think they'll still smoke both teams.
Yeah,
but
agreed.
If he's really, really hurt, like the Giannis injury, that for Eastern Conference Championship could be tough.
But I mean, they're playing one of the two next teams that we're about to talk about, the Knicks or the Pacers.
In the championship, you're saying?
In the Eastern Conference Championship, yes. Eastern Conference Finals. Neither of those. That's the problem with the Eastern Conference.
Well, without the Bucks and Giannis, I mean.
Exactly. Without the Bucks and Giannis, and the Sixers are doing who knows what. Literally, the Eastern Conference is dog water.
Yeah, we said that before.
Yeah. So
I mean, you even look at the records of the Eastern Conference compared to the Western Conference.
I mean, literally,
holy moly,
you need him for the finals, like the NBA Finals.
If
sit out the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
4 to 5 weeks even. I don't know when about 2 weeks ish per series. So sit out the next 4.5, 5 weeks and hope that he's back by then.
Yeah, I will say he definitely benefits a lot from the fact that the NBA playoffs go on forever and they have like 3 days rest between games. And if they can win this,
or 4 for the Wolves.
Because that was because we both ended the series. If they win Wednesday, so this will be technically yesterday. Mm-hmm. And this Cavaliers Magic game goes 7. They'll at least have another week off.
Yep.
Which will benefit a lot.
Him playing the first couple games of that series, whoever they're playing.
I don't think you would want him.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I think Eastern Conference Finals, I think, are the goal, and they just have so many good players.
Okay, so does him out affect how you feel about them winning the NBA Finals?
No.
Or they?
Oh, winning the whole thing?
Yes.
Yes. If he can't play, if he's actually out the whole NBA Finals.
What if he's like, he hasn't played up to that point, might come back like game 2 or 3? Like he might miss game 1, still not quite back, and then he's like, I want to give it a go, and is back game 2 or 3.
I don't think it affects it as much because I think him playing is even just a little hurt is better than their Al Horford getting big minutes. Okay. But I do think, I mean, obviously health is a big thing and it is what it is. But I think I would still take him and say they're fine, just because he doesn't have to necessarily. That you have Jaylen Brown, you have Derek White who can get.
Okay, so if he doesn't play at all, do you think does it affect how
yes.
you feel?
If he doesn't play at all, it affects them. If he only plays a little bit or comes in without playing and plays game 1, I don't think it matters. I think they'll put up a good.
All right, the other two teams that are probably going to be in the Eastern Conference semifinals, starting with the Knicks. They're up 3-1, playing the
close
Sixers.
Game here.
They've all been close games for the most part.
Yep.
But if they win here on Tuesday, then they're on to the next round. How do you feel about the Knicks overall?
I think the Knicks.
From what you've seen of them?
From what I've seen, I think the Knicks. I mean, they've obviously played very well. They've beat a unfortunately tough team, but I think
a good Sixers team, but maybe underperforming. I think with the Knicks, I think what's people didn't expect is they've had guys who stepped up when they needed to step up besides Jalen Brunson. Game 1, it was Josh Hart. DiVincenzo hit a big shot game 3. Or was it game 4? Anunoby stepped up. Mitchell Robinson is back. Josh Hart has been playing well.
Yep. So I think and Jalen Brunson is playing at that elite level that makes him a potential MVP at some point, maybe. I don't know. The problem with the Knicks,
not putting him in that category.
The one thing that the problem with the Knicks is who is going to be your other consistent guy? Like, who's going to be that other guy? And also, this is farther down the road. So if you beat the Sixers, next round you would play Pacers. Who's going to be? Who's going to be your next guy to just consistently step up and perform other than Jalen Brunson? I don't think Jalen Brunson can lead a team as a number 1 to an NBA Finals.
No, not NBA. if we're talking stat lines playing the Pacers, then maybe it's under 6 turnovers because they don't play a lick of defense.
No.
But if we're playing other teams, 6 turnovers. Anyways, yeah. I mean, I don't think that they'll really be tested that much. They can keep playing how they're playing, have Brunson be the main guy and the guy that's doing pretty much everything for them, and they'll get through this series against the Sixers. They'll get through the next series against the Pacers, and then it's oh crap, now we're playing the Celtics, and it'd be really nice if we had Julius Randle playing. It'd be really nice if we still had Bogdanovich playing.
Is Bogdanovich out the whole year?
Out for the season, yeah.
I will say this.
So that's where they're gonna see the
weakness of not
the
having
fallback of not having the guys that are injured.
I will say this. I even could see it. Maybe I don't think necessarily they'll lose the series, but I think against the Pacers. I mean, the Pacers have looked. I mean, I know they're playing a depleted Bucks team.
Depleted. That's like a G League team.
But I'm just saying the Pacers have shown some spurts where it's okay. I mean, you got to play who you got to play.
Right.
So it's also just they're playing very well. There's guys who are Nemhard's stepping up. Miles Turner's stepping up.
Miles Turner has been playing well.
Siakam, the first few games, stepped up. So, I mean, Halliburton hasn't really been...
Finally, he's been doing something.
But he hasn't been up to that full potential all-star, top-notch, best player potential. I think these other guys are stepping up around him. So, I think the Pacers, and especially when you're a team that scores a lot of points, I don't know if the Knicks can keep up potentially. It could be a more interesting series than we think, which I hope it is.
That's what's going to be
the key.
The way that they win is they
slow it down.
They keep scoring.
Oh, the Pacers? Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Pacers. The last thing on the Knicks, I think that this season shows that once they get people, it's they're a year away, and if they have the right pieces in place, and it shows that they've got a really good structure. But once they get to next year. I mean, there's a little bit of luck in every successful postseason run. And so, injuries are part of that, avoiding them.
At the right time.
And so, I feel like this year shows that they're ready to compete for the Eastern Conference.
I think if Julius Randle can be healthier, they can find with Julius Randle in this starting lineup, that's a very good team.
Exactly.
And if you have another guy that can be a +1 to Jalen Brunson and a Julius Randle capability, that's a good team.
Exactly. I completely
That's
agree.
a team that could give the Bucks the Celtics a little bit of push.
Yep.
I still don't know though.
Yep.
So
all right, Pacers, they're up 3-1. They're playing the crappy Bucks at this point.
Yeah, it's just this is probably gonna be over.
So you kind of alluded to it.
Yeah.
The best way to beat the Knicks in the next round is going to be their pace of offense.
Push.
Do you think that they'll be able to do that?
Yeah, I think they'll try to take advantage. Like you said, they are the one. If the Bucks were healthy, this games would be 130 to 130.
That's how both teams want to go.
They don't play defense, and every time that ball goes through the hoop, they play get it and go.
Yep.
And get it and go. And they love to push the pace. And like I said, a lot of these guys are stepping up when they had to. I know it's a depleted Bucks team, but like I said before, you have to play who you have to play. And at the same time, if both these series end, I think that could be a very exciting series. I think you have a good big guy in Miles Turner who can stretch the floor. Halliburton's lengthy. So we'll see what happens. It should be a good matchup. I don't see the Pacers losing to the Bucks. I think they'll advance easily. So
then we get two teams that play completely opposite.
Yeah, one fast and one because the Knicks are probably on the lower half, right?
Definitely lower half.
Yeah. So
yeah, they're more grinded out. They're scoring high teens to mid 20s per quarter.
Yeah, that's why I just don't know. I think it's so hard, especially. The Knicks have players who can score, but they are a defensive-minded, slow-paced team. So it's if the Pacers
a little bit more methodical.
If the Pacers can get going and speed them up, I don't know if the Knicks can keep up, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's hard to speed up NBA players though.
100%. So we'll see what happens. Should be a good series.
Yeah. All right, we're moving on to the West.
The actual competitive
the teams
side.
that have moved on. So, we've got the Thunder.
Yeah.
4-0.
Impressive.
We mentioned it before. Youngest team to win a playoff series.
Yeah.
Do you feel better, the same, or worse than you did at the beginning of the playoffs about the Thunder?
I would have to say, if I can. So if it's
the
like
three options are: you feel better about them,
I think
you
I
feel
would
the
say better.
same,
Yeah.
or you feel worse about them.
I was gonna say somewhere in between same and better, but I'll lean towards better actually because I think this gives them now confidence for a young team, and the difference is they'll have home court advantage through the Western Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for a young team that plays a huge part, and I think at the same time, you just showed that you have a lot of guys who can perform and play, and so I think it definitely gives them the confidence they needed. I think it will be a very difficult series, whoever they have to play, but I think at the same time, you have to take the confidence and say they're going to be better off. I think both of us were very questionable on how they were going to perform. At least I was, just based off of no experience or anything. So.
Yeah, I would put myself in the same category. Like, I didn't really learn much about them from beating the Pelicans. I think that for them to continue to keep going, they're going to need more out of Shea.
Yeah. I think this was a series, and I don't want to relate it to the Eastern Conference, but I want to say this is a very similar series to the Celtics, where it's like Tatum has just kind of done They haven't popped off the way we're expecting them to pop off, and I think when it becomes tougher, Shea will have to perform that.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Yeah, that was pretty decent by me.
Good job, David.
Decent by me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's definitely one of those things. I think, but it'll be interesting to see. I think the confidence goes a long way for a young team. So
I think it definitely shows because I mean, the three teams in the West the whole year that were the teams to beat, they were at the top, consistently there, consistently winning all of their games, was the Thunder, the Wolves, and the Nuggets. And those were the three teams that took care of business very quickly in their first round.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's what you expect from those three teams.
Right.
I don't think the Thunder showed me anything where it was like, oh my gosh, they are the best out of those three teams.
Mm-mm.
I mean, if you were to say that it's not going to be those three teams that are competing for the Western Conference champion and to like go to the NBA Finals, then the chances of it not being one of those three is probably very small going into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Now, probably even more, you know? Yeah. And so, like, I feel like the Thunder are definitely the third team out of those three.
Yeah, I think the Thunder just have a lot of, like, especially with their, I mean, they obviously have a superstar in Shea, but like you said, he hasn't performed at the level that we probably expect him to, but at the same time, it's the same conversation. Like I said, he hasn't had to.
Right.
And so, but I do think when you look at it, they had a few close games where it probably pushed them a little bit. Obviously, the first game was a 2-point game that potentially could have lost. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think out of, like you said, yes, I agree. Out of those, the three teams at the top, they're probably the lowest just because I just don't know. They don't have size compared to the other. I mean, Chet's good, but they don't have size compared to. They have height. They don't have size, and they don't have the playoff.
They don't have girth.
Playoff experience. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That's the Thunder though.
Lou Dort though.
He's thick.
That's right. The Nuggets beat the Lakers as before.
Kind of a surprising series.
How do you feel about the Nuggets?
I don't know. I feel a lot less scared.
We'll ask you the same question. Do you feel better? Do you feel the same? Do you feel worse about them?
Worse.
Okay.
I think they were supposed to be the powerhouse team and dominate. And I know it's the Lakers, and the Lakers had some superstars, but at the same time, they did not look very good. I mean, in the first half, I think, like I said, I think they were losing every game in the first half. But I think at the same time, they won on 2 game-winning shots.
They were losing like 140 of the 200 minutes.
That's what I'm saying.
Series.
Right, and so I think it's one of those things. I think they're obviously less scary. They're still the Nuggets, so I don't know. Maybe it was just the first round, and they're like, hey, now we have to actually pick it up. But I don't know. Give the Lakers credit. They kind of punched them in the face a few times. And I support it. Beat them up a little bit, show their weakness. I mean, Jamal Murray hit 2 game-winning shots.
He hit 2 game-winning shots. He's very clutch. It will be something to keep your eye on as the series with the Wolves starts. That with Jamal Murray's calf and KCP also got banged up a bit in their last game. So if those two guys aren't feeling good, that's not good for them.
No, not at all. And I think
they're going to need a full team effort.
Yeah, and I think when they have their full team, they're very good. But you also look at their team.
They are very good.
Aaron Gordon, probably considered not a great shooter. Michael Porter Jr., a very good shooter. But if Jamal Murray's hurt or not playing 100%, he's obviously a huge downgrade for who's their backup. Christian Brown? Is he who comes in for Jamal Murray?
Reggie Jackson.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah.
He played pretty well.
He played decent game 5. But I would take him. I mean, if he's the guy that has to score, I'll take my chances.
Well, he would score less, and it would be on Michael Porter Jr. and
Aaron Gordon
and Jokic.
And I think that's fine. I think they just showed some weaknesses, and I think they definitely showed some time.
If Jamal Murray can't play, then that's...
Well, even KCP. If he's a little banged up, that's a huge...
Yeah, but he's not expected to score that much.
Yeah, but
Jamal Murray played Game 5, so he's expected to play.
Well,
but
KCP
if
played.
he's slowed at all...
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, they obviously have they have, 4 days off? 5 days off? So you start Saturday?
They finished on Monday, and it starts on Saturday, yes. 5 days.
So 4 rest days.
And they don't have to travel.
No.
Like, it would have been huge if the Lakers would have won, so they'd have to go to LA and then go to Denver, rather than just winning at Denver and staying there.
Yeah. It's hard.
That's a bummer.
But, be a good series.
All right. This team that they're playing in that series, Timberwolves, better, the same, worse?
Better.
Easily better.
Has to be better. Like I said
is
before,
that our hometown bias coming through?
Well, 100%.
Maybe not. But
yeah. Well, no, it for sure is. But I think also at the same time,
but
I think everybody will say better. Well, except Stephen A. He's still dogging him.
Oh my gosh.
He hates us for some reason.
Everybody's talking about the Wolves though.
No, and I love it.
Do you like that people are talking a lot about the Wolves, or are you like, why you guys don't know them? I'm a little bit of like the things that these dudes are talking about, like they don't even know what the heck they're talking about.
I think with the Wolves, it's always, I mean, the reality is I think with people who don't follow the Wolves or haven't been following the Wolves or aren't like hometown guys, it's the same story every time. Like we were up 2-0 in the series and everyone was still like, oh, those were flukes.
Yeah.
And we dominated the 2 games.
Yeah.
So then game 3 came and we dominated game 3. So I think I don't mind that people are talking. I hope we still, and I don't think we won't. I think we'll still use it as fuel to kind of just keep going. I mean, at this point, it's like everybody is just gelling and everyone. The difference with the Wolves is it's good to see because the defensive intensity just ramped up in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Ramped up. Ant wasn't playing very well defensively. Stopper. And it's just like when he turns it on like that, it's just like, dude, it's game over. It's game over. And people are nailing shots. It's fun to watch.
That is fun to watch.
Fun to watch.
You want to know what else I thought was funny? Everybody's talking about this matchup, the Wolves and the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh my gosh, best series, whatever. And then you can tell instantly who knows the teams and who is just like a casual fan that's talking about this series.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's so blatantly obvious.
Well, there will be a lot more people now, or have probably been,
right,
that are riding the bandwagon of Ant and riding the bandwagon of the T-Wolves. And it's like, guys, you don't know the half of what people have been through with this organization. Oh my God.
Well, the thing is, like, when they're previewing this series, they don't, like, the things that they're saying just don't make any sense. Like, when one of the big things today was they put the pictures of the starting 5 for the Nuggets and they put the pictures of the starting 5 for the Wolves, like, right above and below each other, and they were like describe how this series goes and who wins and in how many games and so on and so forth.
Yeah. And
the people that were that I saw talking about this, they were like, well, you know, Jaden McDaniels will match up with Michael Porter Jr. Ant will match up with KCP. Mike will be with Jamal Murray. It's like, you guys have no idea the matchups that are going to be happening. That is not what's going to happen.
No, it's literally just looking at it and being like, oh, this guy plays the one, this guy plays the one.
Yeah.
It's like it's like traveling basketball where you're like, hey, you're the 2 now.
Yeah.
Find their 2 and you match up with their 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the difference is, I think that what the Wolves have shown is like every player. I mean, there's been a few games where Ant hasn't started slow and someone's picked up the pace. I mean, our 3-point shooting has been unreal. You have guys who I feel like in the first game or so, Mike Conley really wasn't there and then stepped up. And I think Rudy stepped up defensively. I think he's shown why he's been worth what we've given him. And a huge improvement, obviously,
He's
from
played
last
really
year.
well this postseason.
And his free throws.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the guy just figured it out somehow.
Well, find some wood because this brother was not as good in the other games. But somehow, like, against the Suns at the end of the regular season and during the playoffs, like, this bro was literally making 6 or 7 every game.
And I will say this, when you look at the Timberwolves, like, now looking back at it, like, when we realized that defensive intensity stepped up, I do think the Suns were actually a decent matchup for us because our size was they just didn't have anyone to compete. I mean, if
we finally put it into play, though, like
100%.
Because the Suns, their strategy was a lot better during the regular season. And then, like, they kind of tried to do the same thing, but it seemed like they weren't, like, all in, this is the strategy, this is how we win.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, you guys already won 3 games in the regular season. I feel like if you continue to lean into that, you're probably at least going to have the games close, and that's what you want. Yeah. But, like, it didn't feel like they were fully committed to that being the best strategy for them.
No. And I think it's the difference between also regular season and playoffs. Like I said, like with this defensive intensity, like the Suns don't play defense.
Right. So then against the Nuggets, I mean, we split with them during the regular season.
Yeah. I think it'll be a tough series. I think the size will matter. If Cat can stay on the court and stay out of foul trouble, we should be successful.
Here's the matchups.
Okay.
This will show that we're not casuals.
Okay.
As long as we don't mess this up. At least my expected matchups.
Okay.
Most likely. So the one thing that will be something to watch. The perimeter is fairly easy to me. You put Jaden on Jamal.
Mm-hmm.
You put Ant on Michael Porter Jr.
Okay.
And you put Mike on KCP.
I was going to say, yeah, Mike on KCP is a given. But I was going to say the other 2 you could potentially interchange.
Why?
I think you put Jaden on Michael Porter Jr. and Ant on. Because I think Michael Porter Jr. is a more pull-up shooter and with the length. I think he would be better off against Jamal. I think that's why he did so well when he matched up against Devin Booker. They're very similar players. They're coming off screens. They're coming off that stuff for jump shots. Jamal's probably a little bit better off the dribble, but I think with Michael Porter Jr., I would rather have Jaden McDaniels.
I disagree.
I think just his length will be substantial.
No, I think one, we like having Jaden guarding the point of their offense. So, like, the guy that's the main ball handler, we like having Jaden on because he's our best defender. 2, that will also put Ant a little bit more off the ball so that he can save some energy for the offensive end. And, like, MPJ is their second best offensive player on the perimeter. And so that's where Ant would go.
You think, I was going to say MPJ. Perimeter-wise, I almost think he's better than Jamal. Perimeter shooting-wise.
No.
He's one of the best in the game at catching and shooting.
He's the perimeter scoring, Jamal is better.
Really?
Yes.
All right, we'll see. I think that would be very interesting. I think with the length, I think the keeping Ant, like, here's the difference also with the Timberwolves is we switch, like, all the time.
Yeah, but Michael Porter Jr., he's not doing as much shot creation. So that's where if we put Ant on him, it's going to be a little bit easier to keep some energy. And, like, he will just be navigating screens. Whereas Jaden, like, he's guarding the ball. And that's, like, he's our best defender to put on the ball on Jamal, who's doing the majority. Him and Jokic are going to be doing a bajillion screens, and we want Jaden in there. Like, once Na comes in, then I could see him going to him guarding Jamal because he's really good at navigating screens, and then Jaden being pushed to MPJ. I could see that happening, but I don't think we want Ant guarding Jamal like to start.
Yeah. I mean, the hard part is then the reality comes that Ant's going to have to rebound. Because MPJ,
that's fine.
Probably 6 or 7 rebounds. I would rather have Jaden McDaniels down low.
Ant has been rebounding.
Yeah, but
that's how people have said. That's how the coaches and everything. That's how you know if Ant is locked in or not, is if he's active in pursuing rebounds.
Oh, I think you can tell if Ant's locked in just by the way he guards the guy.
No, that's what they said. They said it is if you see Ant actively pursuing rebounds on a consistent basis, then that's how you know that he's locked in.
It's a tie game. Yeah.
So, but then you go to the post.
You'd rather have Ant guarding. Oh, in the post?
No.
Oh,
so
the post is given.
We're transitioning to the post. The post is given what?
I think Cat guards Jokic, and who's their other guy? Aaron Gordon guards, or is guarded by Gobert.
Yeah.
Because I think you have to have Here's the hard part. Cat's feet are like they're in cement. But I would rather take Cat over Rudy out top. Like, Jokic is going to try to stretch the floor. He can stretch the floor. I would rather have Cat guarding Jokic than
Well, he just sets so many screens. Right,
I'm just saying I think Cat is more athletically... I hate to say that because he's just...
Rudy's athletic.
No, I'm taking that statement back because Cat's feet are horrible, and I think that'll be the matchup.
They are very large.
They are very large, and he's also very just like... Cat, you got to move your feet, buddy.
Yeah. So
did you have Rudy guarding Jokic? Or did you have Cat?
I have Cat.
Yeah. I think it just makes more sense.
Well, so the reason being is Cat can hold his own in the post defensively. And then you have Rudy who is able to kind of be the maestro behind the scenes. So like if Rudy needs to go help Cat on defense, he can shift over and bring a double to Jokic. If he needs to step up and contest at the rim, if somebody's driving, like you can more easily leave Aaron Gordon than Jokic. Yeah. Right? Like Jokic 100%. Is in every single play.
Well, and Jokic is a lot better shooter than Aaron Gordon outside of the paint.
Yeah, totally.
100%.
And like he's going to find his spots a little bit easier. So like having Rudy being able to just kind of like play in the spaces and be ready to help on drives, be ready to help Cat in the post, like that's where he's the best.
Well, and it makes him, he doesn't have to think as much. He just knows, hey, my guy.
Oh, like, he's thinking all the time.
Rudy?
Yes.
I'm saying you don't want him to think. Keep him down low and
he's one of the smartest defensive players.
I'm not saying not think like that. I'm saying if you bring him out and he has to deal with a pick and roll, no, he's not going to be good. He's not. He's not going to be good because they're going to switch it, and that's what they showed last game is...
He did very well in switches against Phoenix.
No!
Yes,
no!
They did.
What do you mean? No! I'm sorry, no. I'll just say this. If Rudy Gobert is in the pick and roll against Jokic, guarding Jokic, we're in trouble. That's why it's better to not have him think and just guarding Aaron Gordon, who literally can't score.
I'm not saying that's going to be good or bad. I'm saying against Phoenix, he was good in the pick and roll.
Yeah, but maybe, but he's also guarding a guy who's a lot... I think Aaron Gordon's a lot better. I think Nurkic's ass. So I think now you're guarding somebody differently.
Aaron Gordon isn't going to be setting a lot of screens.
Right, that's the difference. So have Rudy guard him.
Unless they're trying to get that mismatch.
Which they could.
They could, definitely. But their offense runs through the pick and roll with Jokic and Jamal Murray.
100%. So don't even have Gobert worry about that. Have Cat do it. Because then I think even if...
Well, I don't know if that's good either.
Well, I think if you have Nas come in, then Cat's more replaceable defensively. But that's a whole different story. It will come down to, truthfully, Cat staying healthy and people not getting in foul trouble.
Literally every series, that the Wolves play, Cat will be the X factor.
100%. Got to stay on the fleet. Got to stay on the court.
Staying on the court and by not picking up fouls and just like how he plays defensively.
Yeah, it'll be a big
and
impact.
Offensively.
Yeah.
Like if he scores 25, great.
Yeah.
If he scores 25, the Wolves are probably going to be pretty tough to beat.
We should win.
Yes.
100%.
Yes. Okay. Any more comments about the Wolves?
No, hopefully they can pull it off, and this will be a big series because I think this will be kind of like
this will be the
tell-all to the people that says if we're for real, because everyone's still going to be like, oh, you played it.
Whoever wins this series
Crappy.
is going to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, they'll beat the Thunder. Yes, correct. That is correct.
Or the Mavericks or the Clippers.
The Thunder. Yes, correct.
Yeah, I mean that's a no-brainer.
100%. But I think that's what people. Yeah, this. I mean, the crazy thing is the 2-3. This 2-3 matchup. Both us and the Nuggets were held the number one spot for a decent amount of time throughout the year.
That's true.
Literally came down to the last game, and that's when the Thunder switched.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see.
Okay, so what do you think's gonna happen?
Well, I think we're gonna win. I think it's gonna go 6.
My hope is 6.
6. I hope we can win it at home. 6, and then get it going. That would be exciting.
Well, we both just said whoever wins this series is going to the
Book
NBA Finals.
Okay.
And we both are hoping for a Wolves in 6.
Yeah, Wolves in 6. Get the chance.
I think if we went back to Denver for Game 7, that would be very challenging.
I think that would yes. I think the difference is this first game. I mean, can try to steal one. I mean, it also like his Ant's fine, right? I mean, both his ankles look like they got twisted bad, but
he's fine.
He's just that's the thing is it will come down to the X factors.
He has a whole week to rest.
Yeah, 100%. God. Yeah. So Cat's got to stay on the floor. X factor. Hopefully we take care of business. It would be exciting. Game 1.
That's
Game
right.
1. This would silence Stephen A. Hopefully, and give us the credit we probably deserve. So.
He even came to a game this year.
Yeah, but he's a phony.
Yeah, he is.
He's talking whatever. But that's all I got. Let's go
right.
Wolves. Also, these games are crazy right now.
Yeah, we love it. OT and the Knicks.
OT
Sixers.
and the Knicks, and if the Magic can pull it off. Jay Brun.
There you go.
So there it is.
Alrighty, what is it? May 2nd.
May 2nd is the day. Today.
Shout out Chad.
Is it his birthday?
May 2nd, yeah.
Shout out to Chad. How old is he? 30?
31.
31?
Yeah.
Wait. He's old? Wait. He's old for his grade.
Correct.
That boy Chad?
Yep.
Good work, Chad.
There you go.
All right. That's it.
See you guys next week.
See ya.